Well, my favorite version of Fantasy Life is not the Baker and the Taylor. Mine is the demon slaying space marine with the fucking buzzsaw shield. That's my favorite Fantasy Life we're doing right now. In the Dark Ages, which, by the way...
Not in the Dark Ages, I guess?
We talked about this a little bit on the Patreon this weekend. So a little bit of a retread here. I fell for this thing. I thought Dark Ages meant I was going to be playing a medieval variant of Doom. Which sounds cool.
You get the sword and you get the shield, and then you slay medieval demons.
That's on me. I went back and looked at this. There's nothing about this that says it was medieval. It is not medieval. I should say this. I'm only 3 levels in at this point. But really, if you played the game, the 3rd level, it's very not medieval. It's very not medieval. And I think a lot of people might have been fooled by that. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy.
I feel like there was an implication in the advertising, okay?
I got that new Doom game came out.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, technically, it comes out tomorrow.
Whatever. The streamer tax, dumb idiot tax version of the game came out yesterday.
You got
for $128.99 Canadian plus tax.
Okay. Well,
or got sent to me in the emails.
Yeah. Okay. I'll grab it on tomorrow then, when it's not the stupid fucking $120 version.
Well, maybe wait a second. It tried to kill my computer.
Ooh. Okay.
It crashed on me multiple times so hard I had to yank the cable out of my PC.
Oh my god. Yeah. Maybe on console then?
Maybe.
Jesus.
The other thing is that, did you play 2016 in Eternal?
Yeah. Not the DLC of Eternal, but the main game.
So I love those games. I think those games are great.
They are.
And I feel like that there was a really strong, cohesive, like identity behind 2016 and Eternal.
Mm-hmm. They're different from each other, though.
Oh, very different. But I mean, each one of them was like, we're going to make fucking Doom Eternal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel in my emotions that the core concept behind this game was, let's go make another Doom game.
Okay.
Like that, their goal was to ship another game that said Doom on it.
I like Doom games.
So I know exactly what I obviously, but it doesn't have the fucking spark that I felt when I was played 2016 and Eternal. And part of that reason is that it is very different from those two games, which I think is cool. I think it's really awesome that it's actually extremely, extremely different. So Doom 2016 was fairly classic, and then Eternal had you double jumping and dashing and sidestepping and dodging and fucking trickstering all over
doing the
rounds.
Yeah.
And this game has no double jump and has no dash, and instead of being a acrobatic Doom man, you are basically a tank with a shield.
Okay.
And you have a perfect parry system, and you have what is essentially Stinger, and you have essentially, you throw the shield to somebody and gets lodged in them, and it's essentially round trip.
Okay. As Gene was describing.
Yeah. And that description was apt. But you are trading that for no alternate fire on any weapon and much slower movement. And
is moment to moment flow like Eternal, where you're having that arcade mode style, like keep the combo going?
No, it's very different.
Okay.
I don't know how to describe it other than just to play it. It's really good and it's quite excellent, but it's just, it's just missing something. It's really subjective, like more than usual when I would talk about this. Like one of the things that I noticed right away is the music isn't mixed loud enough, which is fucking weird.
Wow.
It's weird that the music isn't mixed loud enough. So I had to go into the options and max out the music. And then the music is not McGordon.
I was gonna say Doom game don't have a music controversy issue challenge impossible.
Right. And it's also even maxed out, it's still not loud enough. And it's fine. It's fine.
Is it genting?
I don't know what that means.
Gent and the what the like BFG division fucking is doing.
Yeah, it's doing that.
You know.
But there's also not enough music.
Okay.
There are levels that are more wide open, and took me nearly 2 hours to beat one of these wide open levels. And when you're not fighting, the music just fades away into like ambiance, and it just doesn't have the same spark. I was talking to Gene about it when I was streaming it last night. Remember in Doom 2016 and Eternal, you had in Doom 2016 you had lab, then you had Martian surface, then you had a different type of lab, then you had a factory, then you had Martian surface, then you went to hell, then you went back to the lab, then you went to a different type of hell, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And in Eternal, you would be like hell on earth, ice, magic night zone, Coliseum, weird hell, and Mario Brothers level in hell, all sorts of zany shit. I just played 7 missions in a row of mostly brown Sentinel Knights architecture.
Oh, okay.
Stages
Thematically, okay. Yeah, I guess. Because so this is taking place during the wars, right?
Yeah.
Is it kind of limited in where it can go and what it can do with that as the backdrop?
Yeah. Supposedly, according to Gene, I have 2 levels before it starts to vary it up.
Okay.
But like that first 8-level pack being what is essentially the same tile set is fucking awful. Like, I'm so bored of that style of architecture and that style of thing. I also, like, some of the new weapons are good. A bunch of them are like, okay. I don't think the weapon roster is nearly as strong as Doom 2016 or Eternal.
Is there any part of it that's like going for the previous Dooms before 2016 that's like affecting kind of like what they're doing?
I mean, 2016 was a lot like Doom, and Eternal was, I guess, closer to Doom 2. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like an extreme, like, remember how much faster Eternal was compared to Doom 2016? This is slower in the other direction. Like, this is the slow Eternal in the other direction, and it's just not hitting for me the way that those two did.
Okay.
The fact that it tried to kill my computer doesn't help. That's not a, especially since the game is very annoying about telling you to make sure to upgrade to the latest drivers. So that's like kind of hilarious that it would then try and kill itself. So like the shield, the shield mechanic is excellent. Like, excellent.
Nice.
But it's your secondary weapon for everything. Like, in Eternal in 2016, every single gun had a secondary weapon, secondary fire that was really interesting.
Is there no synergy between the gun that, like, with the shield to kind of make up for that, or?
Yes, there's a huge amount of synergy. So there's like some, like, you get to the Impaler, which is basically like a railgun, and it's like kills with the shield drop railgun ammo. Or if a railgun is impaled and you throw the shield at somebody, it does extra damage. Stuff like that. But it just...
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I had something more concrete than, I don't know.
Okay.
But...
Because I know that, like, the big difference... So the difference between Doom 2016 and Eternal is huge, but I still enjoyed both for what they were doing. and you know, even though Icon of Sin or whatever,
God awful.
you know, but like the idea of the like, once I understood that you're like, you locked me in a room and you want me to combo the shit out of this room and like flow state, right?
Yeah.
Once I understood that that's what the game was asking, I was like, cool, I'm down. I understand what you want me to do, which is different, but it was fun when it was going. And in this case, I'm open to the idea of being asked to do something else, you know? Like, let's throw Ultra Kill into the mix, right? Ultra Kill, shorter levels of just fucking intensity and bosses and crazy shit that goes down.
Yeah.
But yeah, tons of alternate fire, tons of ways to like, you know, remix the way you're using the same weapons and create original synergies and things like that. Like, and then mechanics that are like the coin flipping mechanic, you know, is like a simple thing that is rewarding to experiment with the entire time you're running through. So like whatever they're asking me to do, if it's different from the others, that's not inherently a problem to me. It's just, is it going to be fun when you're executing it at its peak?
Oh,
you
it
know?
definitely is. It's one of those things. It kind of reminds me of with our talk about DMC4 last week. It's like the levels, the wrapper around that stuff just isn't there compared to the other two. Maybe it'll get there. I'm going to continue playing it.
Okay.
One of the things that really does stand out like dramatically is that the game has almost no story, but it has just enough story to make you go, wow, this story is stupid and bad. Like there's like maybe like a single cutscene at the beginning and ending of every mission, and I like nothing is happening in them, but it's just enough for you to go, this is stupid as fuck. Like this doesn't even need to be here at all.
Okay.
Like actively dumb.
So I mean, like, are we going like, because the story in the original too is like, I love how straightforward and evil and just like corporate hellscape. Here comes the maker. She's terrible.
Oh, absolutely.
And him on his ship, just hearing everybody freaking out and picking up the clips of the scientist fucking gooping her panties, talking about the Slayer. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Sure.
So people in the chat are talking about Eternal and how like Eternal was that times a million, because Eternal had tons of story and tons of logs and tons of details about the Doomslayer is actually this and they're actually Jesus and they're from heaven and oh my god, right, all that nonsense
in the beginning. Yeah, and Hayden and you know.
So it's that, but because it's a prequel, like nothing is actually happening, but it's still doing that thing. So like there's an entire level that the only thing that is happening is we have to defend the level from the bad guys. That's it. That's all of it. And they'll have like a couple cutscenes of like demons scheming, but it's like what are they scheming? They're scheming to blow it up. And it's like it could just not be there at all.
Okay. So because the way whenever I like looking at the premise and sort of setup for these types of things, it's like you heard about, you know, the war through lore and tapes and as a reference in the past, and like is it like going back to the Clone Wars? And
yeah,
I mean,
it feels like
never mind the show and the good stuff that happens, you know, many seasons in or whatever. But like, it's like, what was the Clone Wars? And it's like, it's this arena in a dusty coliseum where you can't see, and those lightsabers are turning on in this one circle moment, and that's kind of the whole thing.
Now you're in it, and you're doing the war that everybody's scared to piss about the Slayer for. And it's like, yeah, no, it's an absolutely excellent game if it's not trying to kill your computer. But I'm kind of unimpressed compared to 2016 and Eternal. And I'm extra unimpressed considering the game is more expensive than normal. Like it's $89.99 Canadian in normal circumstances. Right?
Okay.
Like, you know, I'm going to keep banging away at it for a little bit. But I would like to... I mean, maybe part of the problem is that I love Eternal. Like, I think Eternal is the fucking peak. Like, some people didn't like... Like, I remember when I played the Eternal, and I got to that hell level that was like fucking Mario Brothers spinning fucking flame balls and double jumping, and it was a goddamn Mario thing. And some folks were like, "Oh, I don't care for this. This is stupid as fuck." To which I say, "Yeah, Doom is a stupid as fuck video game. Give me my double jumps so I can get my extra life."
So, based on what you're saying, I mean, as somebody who thoroughly enjoyed Big Daddy drilling my way through BioShock
This might
2,
be more to your taste by default.
yes, I'm super. If the shield is good and fun and it's like rewarding enough, I'm super down to just enjoy that shield all the way through, and that'll do it for me. You know.
Well, by the first, by the third level, you can completely upgrade the shield to maximum, which is what I did.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I know it's going to be what you do.
Yeah.
And you should do that.
I'm a fan of meleeing, obviously, in general, but like in a first person game where it works in sync with your gun variety and stuff to like play off the two together, where you can do things from far and then get in close, and then do things from far and get in close, and kind of combo and stuff. Like, yeah, that sounds rad as hell. So interesting.
I wish the music was better and more of it.
Yeah.
And I also think that
I wish Mick could be on all things at all times forever, but that's just not the way reality works.
I also think that maybe they've gone too far with the map. So you know how Doom games would like Eternal and 2016 would show you like where a secret was on the map, but it was up to you how to get there?
It's been a minute, but...
Right, it would. It would show like a question mark. And it's like, well, how the fuck do I get there, right? They have gone too far. So like one of the pickups in this game is gold, and you'll sometimes get gold on the ground like health potions are. You know how they're all in a line? You know, like boop, 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 boop. And when you look at the map and you're within a certain distance, you will just see like literal lines of question marks leading to secret areas.
Okay.
And like one of them was like turn down this corridor and walk down the line of gold, and there's a big gold at the end, and I punched it and it said you got a secret, and I'm like, I didn't even jump to get in here, man.
So it's not like finding the little Nendos, little Doom guys around
you
the
still
map.
do, but like a lot of them are like, come on, man, this isn't a fucking secret. You gotta give me a fucking break.
Gotcha. Okay.
There is one other thing, and it is really, really, really funny because it exists in this moment in time. So you're playing a lot of Expedition 33.
Yes.
And Expedition 33, it has a fairly tight but not unreasonable parry timing.
Mm-hmm.
The parry timing on Ultra Violence and Ultra Nightmare and all the harder difficulties in Doom, the Dark Ages, is like 90 frames.
Oh.
and exists in a sphere maybe 10 feet in diameter around your character.
Okay. It's counter. It's not parry.
It is.
Yeah.
They say it's parry.
Yeah. Okay.
Man.
All right.
It is wild.
And through these types of discussions, we find words to iron down feelings that don't have words until this moment.
Right.
What you just described is so interesting because when a parry window is so generous that it extends too far ahead of the rhythm of the moment, it stops feeling good. If you hit way too early on something and then it happens like a half second after, it's like, it didn't feel like it was impacting on the moment.
I'm
you know?
able to parry slow-moving attacks after I have dodged them and they are behind me.
Yeah. That's not good. You're right. And the funny thing about that is like to if you just change your perspective on it, a character doing a counter, like a catch, I'm anticipating something and then it comes in, is like, oh, that's fine, right? But for it to be a like I am deflecting what you're doing off, it needs to be within a heartbeat feeling, you know? Like it's got to be, you can't get that too loose or the feeling's gone, especially if there's like a slowdown associated or something like that.
One of the things that's interesting is that this game's option menu allows for a extremely wide variety of changes to the gameplay. So you can turn up the game speed, you can turn up the movement speed, you can turn up enemy speed, enemy damage, turn it down. You can fuck with the parry timing. You can make the parry timing more strict if you wanted. I'm playing on Ultra Violence, which is the Doom's classic hard mode, which is the way I've played through every Doom game since I was literally a child. And all the difficulties is hardest parry timing is around 60% of the way up on the thing. Mm-hmm. So when I'm talking about, I think the game is kind of slow, and I think the parry timing is incredibly generous. I will see people either in my chat or comments or Blue Sky or here right now saying, well, just dial in the knobs to make the game feel how you want it to feel. And I don't know how to explain that. Like, I don't want to have to fine tune past what the dev intended for me. I'm already picking a difficulty to try and figure it out, and I'm already QAing what settings crash my computer, and now I am being asked to season it for myself because the default spices aren't as to my liking as the prior games they put out.
Well, I could certainly see like increasing something's forgiveness to be like, an accessibility option, or like the Hi-Fi Rush, I have no rhythm, version of things. But I get, making it stricter on yourself while I see what you mean.
I'm not the kind of guy who brings my own hot sauce to the restaurant.
I get it.
I don't know. It just doesn't. It feels unconfident, and it feels like the kind of thing that I would be messing with after I beat the game. Right?
I'm also reminded of how like I super praise the way of the passive fist for 4 or 5 difficulty sliders that change up, the challenge according to what you want it to be. And, in a lot of cases, like there are, or even in like Kid Icarus, you like slide up that difficulty and then the rewards go up or whatever the case is, like if there's like an incentive to pushing something up or down that becomes part of the game, then I think that's fine too. Right. So, I'm reminded of like going into the options and tweaking that stuff is perhaps less fun than in Hades, where you're doing like heat, and you're putting on heat challenges where you're like, oh, it's part of the game to tweak these little things. Actually,
well, with a game like Doom, I feel like tweaking on these kinds of settings is like kind of self-defeating, because like, okay, so I want to dial in how fast I want the game to be. Right, and I want to dial in the parry timing, and I want to dial into my taste. So what is my option here? Play through an entire mission with my new settings, decide, oh, you know what? I really overdid it. Should I continue on with different settings that have different enemy layouts and different challenges and realize actually I underdid it this time? Or should I replay the mission I just played with the new setting? Like, how long should I be spending to dial it in?
I mean, if they drop you into... Sounds like a reason to like drop you into the void with one demon to just like see what the feeling is when you tweak a setting, Also,
and I'm sure someone in the chat can clarify this, because I'm at like 60% on the parry thing, whatever Ultra Violence does. I don't think that the minimum parry timing is probably still extremely generous by like my standards.
Yeah, well, so I guess
it would make very little difference.
Now, are you completely breezing through Expedition? Right? Or are you finding some challenge in the
Expedition?
parries?
I am ping-ponging between breezing and challenging.
Okay. Because
if you strange curve.
Because if you sat here and said like, oh, I find no challenge in those parries, and I'm like, well, then you're just a parry god compared to all us mere mortals. Because like
I know, I turned Expedition up to expert because I wanted to fight more.
Yeah. I would say too that the fuck, god damn it, I just had the point. Brain soup. Anyway, sliders in the case with Doom or so, like Yeah, fuck. Oh, that's what it is. So the idea of like having to play through the level and everything like that. Like this is where now a Armored Core just going like, hey, you're slightly tweaking the percentages on a slight little gun on your slight little loadout change. Jump into a little lab thing, see what that looks like. Okay, you like that feel? Okay, now go into the mission, right? Like a game like Armored Core is like saying tweak as gameplay, test here, now sortie. You know, but if what you're describing is kind of just like an extensive list of things that are not necessarily a part of the game design, but are more just kind of like, I want to make this a bit.
So there's a really good
harder.
example of what I'm talking about. There's someone in the chat right now who points out that there are options to fix the issues that I'm having, to which I'm saying, no, I don't want to mess with those options. I don't want to fix it. I just want to complain. I don't enjoy tweaking it with sliders. That's actively miserable. And at what point do I feel that I'm like how much time do I want to spend dialing it in before I can make it feel as good as the 2 games they put out before? Right? Like I think never for a second thought, oh, I wish this was faster, or I wish the jump timing, or I wish this was different on Eternal or 2016 or Doom 1 or 2. The only game I can ever think of in the entire Doom franchise that I ever sat around going, man, I would really like to change this, was Doom 3, because I think the flashlight shit they had there was fucking stupid.
No, I love custom difficulty settings, and I think that's great, and I think more games need to have that and lean into that. But I understand the feeling of I don't want to make it myself. That's a reasonable way to feel.
It takes time to actually dial it.
I get it.
Somebody in here actually mentioned, how do I feel about Wrath of the Righteous? Because Wrath of the Righteous, the Pathfinder RPGs, they have super, super in-depth sliding scales for difficulties. And the way that it works is you pick, like, I want normal, easy, casual, or whatever, and then it shows you what sliders it's changing. But if you're like, I don't want critical hits anymore, you can turn that off. And if you had to ask me how I feel about like the sliding scale difficulty options in Wrath of the Righteous, my actual response would be, it would be really nice if Pathfinder Kingmaker and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous had a single well-balanced difficulty setting in their entire fucking series of settings. Every single fucking difficulty option in those games is too much or too little.
And you have to tweak things.
You kind of have to go into the sliders to turn it up or turn it down, because easy is a cakewalk and normal is brutal.
And
it's like, can you not just make a good difficulty, please?
So there's definitely a confidence you want the developer to go into, like the way they're making a game with this stuff and release it, feeling good. The difference that I think is important here is when we talked about Hi-Fi Rush when it came out and about Expedition 33 right now, it feels good. But even like the thing of like, I want more fights, where you're like, okay, let me crank that up a bit, or the rhythm and the musical element of Hi-Fi Rush kind of coming into play. Those are things where, unlike Doom, they were released as their own original first entries into their franchise. And Doom, you're comparing to the last 2 Doom games you played, right? Yeah. So if this were a brand new thing on its own without any other comparison points directly, it would probably be a little different for like, go in, change this setting, tweak that way, or tweak this particular thing for the feeling. But because you're straight up going like, I hope this is more fun than Doom Eternal, then you're attached to that part as well. I think that makes a difference.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think like, I think in terms of like levels, enemies, weapons, etc., I think it's just like slightly worse than Eternal. But I think most of my lack of excitement is like, I prefer dashing and double jumping and glory killing more than I appreciate parrying or throwing that shield.
Okay.
And I think at the end of the day,
I might
that's kind of the
I might not. We'll see. Sounds interesting.
Also, the game's too expensive.
Yeah.
If the game shut my PC off when I turned it on, $89.99 is too expensive.
No,
It's
120.
a software game. It should be the most immaculate presentation possible.
120 Canadian dollars to play it a day early does not sound like my.
Oh no, not 120, 128.99 plus tax.
Excuse me, my mistake. To play it a day early is not reasonable.
I right now in the early access part, I assume there's going to be a day one patch tomorrow. I was beta testing it last night, like overtly. And I got in touch with somebody who informed me that this game is coming in super hot, and they threw as many bodies as they possibly could to get it out by the date it was. And maybe they didn't round off enough of the technical edges that they should have.
Doom as a franchise, 2016 and Eternal have teased the big mech as a cool thing. Have you piloted the mech?
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
It's a fairly simple section. The mech doesn't have a lot going on, but I mean, it's fucking cool.
Okay. Like
there's also a dragon sequence in which you ride a dragon, and it's kind of like Panzer Dragoon.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's not a lot going on, but it's cool.
Yeah. Jump like Ito Impact. Let's go. Just punch, chain, giant step, do cool thing.
Yeah.
All right.